Albuquerque Mayor Tim Keller's defense of his seat at City Hall began in earnest this week as challengers Eddie Aragon and Bernalillo County Sheriff Manny Gonzalez went after the mayor in two separate forums, the Black Voters Collaborative and a joint debate sponsored by KKOB Radio and the Chamber of Commerce. The big topics were crime and homelessness, as you might imagine, two very visible challenges for the state's biggest urban area. Here to talk politics, here's our Line Opinion panel. Public health expert Michael Byrd is with us once again this week. So is former House Minority Whip Daniel Foley. And we'll start with attorney Laura Sanchez. Now, Laura, it's always interesting to hear the candidates talk in the presence of their opponents. Did anyone make or lose ground from the first two forums this week?
Well, it is always interesting when you see all of them up there together. We saw some very different styles, I think. And it's interesting to see sort of their approach in terms of attacking. Obviously, it's Tim Keller is our current mayor. He's the guy that's got more, I think, of the presence, and he's going to be on the defensive. And the other two are going to be attacking him. But I thought overall, the mayor came out looking, I think, as expected, very mayoral, right? I mean, he very much was talking about the future, was being more broad about stuff, and the others were really trying to narrow in on their particular issue. And crime was a big part of the entire feel, and I think that's an important issue for us, and one that the mayor has to figure out how to address.
Hey, Daniel, got to go right to you on this one. Eddie Aragon, of course, is a Republican, and Manny Gonzalez is sort of running like a Republican. Is there enough undecided votes out there for a winner to emerge from those two, or are they hoping for a runoff?
No and no.
No and no. Okay. Why and why?
So I think the only chance that anybody had of defeating Mayor Keller was with Manny Gonzalez being able to corral Republican votes and pick off non-progressive Democrats. Now with Eddie Aragon getting in and decisively going to split the Republican votes, it's a foregone conclusion. I mean, Mayor Tim Keller should be thanking Eddie Aragon and throwing a huge party for him, because I think he was in a battle if it was a one-on-one race. I think without there being a one-on-one race, he's going to win a huge victory. And I think that it's interesting because in these one-on-one battles, as the incumbent, you got to be careful because everything is focused on you. Once it becomes three or more, everything's not focused on you anymore. You got these guys doing their side battles over here, and it deflects some of the opportunity for you to look. And as Laura said very eloquently, you get to be the one who seems like you're the eloquent leader, the adult in the room, because those guys are squabbling. They're both coming after you, and you get to kind of, put yourself above it. So,
but let me ask you this though: does that squabbling add up to a less than 50% take for the mayor, and we get into a runoff? It does not.
Because the mayor's going to get all the progressives. There's no doubt that the mayor is the progressive darling. They're not moving. Now all of the conservatives, Republicans, are going to go for Eddie Aragon, the hardcore conservatives, and you got this group in the middle who probably doesn't care now that they feel like they're not going to make a difference, right? Going out there when you say, listen, I'm going to go vote for Manny because I think we're going to beat Tim Keller. Now you're going to throw your hands in the air like, never mind, it's not worth my time, which I think just adds to the reason why Tim Keller will win re-election. I think he'll win it easily on election night, and I think it'll be an easy victory for him on election night.
Dude, we're some weeks away. Are you seriously?
Well, I mean, clearly something could happen between now and then. There's no doubt about it. We literally just elected a U.S. Congresswoman who ran against a sitting state senator who, thanks to the incompetency of the Republican Party, couldn't even win his own Senate district in the race. So what makes you think that there is any move in that race? That seat is wholly contained in the city of Albuquerque. What makes you think that anything has changed from that election to this election, that there's going to be this groundswell movement against the mayor? I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see that there's been a good enough job. Now we can have a long conversation about why I don't see that and what the ramifications are. But
let me ask you to hold that. I got to get my man Michael. Getting my man Michael in here. Good points though, for sure. Michael, Tim Keller was first on the air this week with an ad talking about how he's handled all their hurdles. in front of him during the pandemic. It's important for two reasons. First, as just mentioned, he has the chance to define himself more casually involved voters. And second, it's not clear if either of his opponents will be able to mount an effective ad campaign. That's the part that interests me, and I'm curious of your thoughts on that.
Well, first of all, I'd say ditto to Dan. I think that I think he's got it right on this, and I just when you look at the qualifications of the candidates to begin with, at least in my mind, it's real clear that Mayor Keller is the best qualified. That's number one, and number two is he in fact is addressing some significant issues that are not unique to Albuquerque. You look at most of the major cities, and some cities that I'm familiar with, the LA area more recently. And
hey, we got mentioned in that New York Times piece this week about murder rates going up. Albuquerque got a shout out. Hate to say it that way.
Many cities are the rates are going up. It's not something that's just unique to Albuquerque. It's unfortunate that we're in the mix again, but it's not unusual.
But how does that play? I mean, it's one thing to say, hey, it's going up everywhere, but folks only care about what's going on up the block, if you know what I mean. That's the important part. How do these mayoral candidates address that part of the crime issue?
Yeah. Well, I think. Oh, go ahead, Dan. Go ahead, please.
Danny, your thought? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, look, I think that the one thing that we're seeing, crime, the one thing that we've learned in elections is it always seems to be about, it's the economy, stupid, right? It's the economy, stupid. And, the one thing that you got to give Mayor Keller credit for is whether he's right or wrong, he's out there. You can't go to an event that you don't bump into him. And I think that in a big town that happens to be a city like Albuquerque, politics is local. And I think that, it's clear this whole deal, the whole run-in with the city clerk did not help Manny at all. Right. I think the addition of Eddie Aragon didn't help Manny at all. And I think that, Keller has done a decent job in the perception of that he's the mayor who's leading. Look, one thing that we found is that regardless of the outcome of what you're doing, it seems like as long as people see your face and hear your voice, they believe that you're leading. And I think that, we can have a long conversation about the murder rates and the way the Albuquerque Police Department is being handled and the homelessness crisis in Albuquerque. I don't think he's done a great job on a lot of those venues, but most people I know, they know him. I don't know anybody that doesn't claim to have a relationship or a friendship with Tim Keller, or at least know him. Hey, I met him at a game, saw him here, met him at a restaurant. So, it's all politics are local.
I appreciate that point. Laura, let me go to this about Sheriff Gonzalez. We've kind of a little bit light on him in this segment here. I thought his quote that he described the city as, quote, at a crossroads of total anarchy, end quote, just a little bit out there a little bit. How would you express, how did you take that when you heard that bit?
I took that as an extreme exaggeration. One, the kind of framing that he appears to be trying to do is say, everything is, the sky's falling and I'm the one who's going to protect you from it. Was what I think he was trying to convey, but it just came across as insulting, frankly. I don't think that we're in total anarchy. I don't think things are that bad. Yes, we have a very serious crime problem. Property crime, murder rates, violent crime is up, and that should be a concern for everybody. But I don't.
And some other things are down. Property crime, things like that. Let me spin to Michael real quick on this same question. I see you may have a thought there. Again, is this the way to win votes? Is to have people think we're at the brink of some kind of disaster? Is that his best card? I should ask.
No, I don't. I think playing to people's fear is not the way to go. I think most people are still pretty rational. I understand that there's some issues, but playing to people's fear benefits no one, and I don't think in the long run it'll benefit him.
Yeah, I think playing to people's fear works only if you've got an answer to it. I think the problem that hurts Manny Gonzalez is with all the stuff that's gone on with police across the country and in the news, to be a sheriff that was opposed to body armor to potty cameras doesn't play very well. I mean, I think, people are not look, I'm not anti-police by any means. I'm not a defund the police guy, but I do believe in accountability. And so when you say, listen, the city's in chaos, I'm the guy that's going to bring relief, but I wasn't for, bringing accountability. I just don't think it plays well. I
got to jump in, and nor do the numbers in the county stack up, and he got challenged on that as well when it comes to crime. We'll have to leave it there. Before we go, I wanted to let you know we'll air the Black Voters Collaborative Forum next week as a New Mexico in Focus special. Early voting will be just kicking off, and for many of our viewers, it'll be a valuable tool as they decide how to vote. Now, we're back in a minute, talk about how New Mexico students are performing.